The Forest Protects Us, Chapter 3. Shirlik cut across the field and went to look for the boys who had hidden by the stream bank. Although from the horse he had seen the spot clearly, he now had to guess where it was. Soon he found it. The boys were sitting by the water having an argument. They fell silent when they saw him. After a while, one of them said, "That's the redhead we saw on the farmer's horse." "Was that you?" a boy asked. Shirlik nodded. "Where are you from?" "The Warsaw Ghetto," he said. "When did you leave it?" "Today." "What were you doing on that horse?" Shulik shrugged. "You don't know?" The question was accompanied by an incredulous laugh. "No." "What happened to its wagon?" someone asked. "It was dragging its harness." Shulik told them what happened and showed them his ripped pants. He also, he now discovered, had a bloody cut on his foot. "You're lucky. That German had a bayonet." "Do you have anything to eat?" Sherlock asked. A boy took some farmer's cheese from his pocket. Sherlock broke off a piece, ate it, and licked his fingers. "Where did you get this cheese from?" he asked. "The Poles hang it in bags from their fences to dry. It's easy to steal it." The boy said. There was a consultation. "What should we do with him?" "One little brat is enough." "Don't you even care about him, Shalemi?" asked a small boy who was sharpening a pocket knife on a stone. "You keep out of this, Yosele," Shalemi said. "Be happy we agreed to take you." Apart from the boy with the knife, everyone is older than Shirlik. "Let Avram decide," the boy with the cheese declared. Everyone looked at Avram. "We'll take him," he said. "If he does something dumb that gets us caught, you're to blame," Shalemi told him. The boy with the cheese said, "Once we're caught, who cares who's to blame?" His name was Itzik. He sat by the stream, throwing sticks into the water and watching them float away on the current. Shulik lay on his back and gazed at the sky. He kept picturing the farmer and his horse growing smaller in the distance. His thoughts were full of the day's events. Someone was waking him. "Come on, we're moving out." It was little Yosele. He was barefoot and wearing a grown man's clothes with the pants hitched up to his waist and tied with a rope. Shulik saw that he was the only boy with shoes. They didn't look like they would last long because Yone had never managed to mend them. The boys set out on a path that led through some fields toward a far-off village. When they neared it, they took cover in a wheat field. Some people and animals were visible in the nearest farmyard. The sun was setting. A mare stood tethered by a stable, its little foal scampering around. A girl was coming home with a flock of geese. A dog barked a greeting, and the geese crooked their necks at it with fearsome shrieks. A teenage boy led some cows to a barn. A woman stepped out of the house and shouted at him, "Jacek, get those pigs into the sty!" Wasn't that the Polish name that was supposed to appear on the postcards his parents had planned to send to his brothers and sisters? The woman, her sleeves rolled up, went to the barn. She held a milk can in one hand and a milking stool in the other. Avram studied the farmyard. "They've prepared baskets of vegetables to take to the market tomorrow," he whispered. What happened next was unexpected. The farmer strode out of the house, saddled a mare, and rode off. The little foal ran after him. The dog jumped to its feet and went with him. The boys excitedly watched them go. Then Abram said, "Now!" They jumped from their hiding places and ran to the farmyard. The large baskets of vegetables were standing by a wall next to a smaller basket of eggs. Abram grabbed the eggs while the others snatched cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, and radishes and stuffed pockets and bags of cheesecloth with them. The geese shrieked. The boys took off at a run. The teenage boy looked out from the pigsty to see what was happening and yelled, "Yeeds! Thieves, Mama!" His mother stepped out of the barn. "The eggs!" the Polish boy yelled. They all ran as fast as they could, with Avram and Shalemi taking the lead. The Polish boy gave chase and caught up with a straggler who had started to run a moment too late. He tackled him and pinned him to the ground. The boy screamed and cried. The woman went on chasing the rest of them, falling farther and farther behind until she gave up. They stopped to catch their breath. grinning as they inspected the vegetables. Their mouths watered when they saw the eggs in Avram's basket. No one mentioned the boy who was caught. In the city, we only stole when it was dark, Shirlik said. You can't steal in the dark from the fields, Itzik explained. You have to see what you're picking. And if you're looking for something to wear, Yoseli added, you have to see what's hanging on the clothesline. Now Shirlik understood where Yoseli's clothes came from. This isn't the city, said Shalemi. Everything is different here. You have to be careful not to do anything dumb. Like what? Shirlik asked. Like talking to poles or swimming naked in the river. You must never ever take off your pants. Shirlik had never heard of such a rule, but although he couldn't think of the reason for it, he didn't want to ask Shalemi. They passed a farm. Some pear trees stood in front of the farmhouse. They're real pears, Itzik said of the fruit, not like the little sour ones you sometimes see by the road. They crept up stealthily. There was no barking. There's no dog. Let Shirlik pick some pears, Shalemi said. Why Shirlik? Avram asked. Why not? It's time he did something. Can you climb a tree? Avram asked. Of course. Itzik gave Shirlik a small bag. The boys watched him tensely. In Blani, Shirlik had climbed trees all the time. He scrambled up a fence and shinnied into a tree. But the dog had only been asleep. Now it woke behind the house and began to bark. An old farmer stepped outside and saw Shirlik in the tree. Shirlik jumped back over the fence and ran. The farmer freed the dog and they ran after him. Stop, thief! The farmer shouted. The boys lit out before Shirlik reached them. Although he could easily outrun the farmer, the dog was catching up. He stopped short, took a pear from the bag, and flung it as hard as he could. It hit its target, and the dog howled and stopped too. But it didn't stop barking, and Shirlik didn't know what to do. If he started to run again, so would the dog. And if he didn't, the farmer would soon be there. Avram, seeing his predicament, turned back to lend a hand. Shalemi grabbed him. Don't! The farmer will catch you both. Let go of me, Avram growled and broke loose. He ran back and hit the dog with his stick. The dog lunged at him, but Avram had been in fights with village dogs before. He whacked it on the snout, and it ran off with its tail between its legs before the farmer could reach them. Shirlik couldn't stop thinking about the boy who had been caught. The boys came to a broad meadow and walked through the grass. Cows and horses were grazing in it. 3 other boys were sitting by a fire. Avram halted. He gave Yosele 2 small coins and said, Go ask if they'll sell us some matches. Shirlik went with him. Do you have any matches? They asked. The Polish boys shook their heads. We'll pay you for them, Yoseli said. Then I reckon we've got some, said a boy. Yoseli examined the box of matches he was given. It wasn't full. The boy filled it from a second box, and Yoseli handed him the coins. Colored bottles were lying by the fire. Some were broken, and others were neatly sliced in half. Are you making glasses from those bottles? Shirlik asked. What's it to you? Yoseli leaned down and took 2 broken bits of bottle. You'll have to pay for that, too. Try to make me, Yoseli said. The Polish boys said nothing. From time to time, they cast suspicious glances at the bigger boys standing on the path. Let's go, Yoseli said. He gave the matches to Avram, and they continued on their way. Yoseli and Shirlik brought up the rear. How come Avram sent us to buy the matches? Shirlik wanted to know. We're too small to scare the Polish kids. But why did you take those broken bottles? They're for you. Yoseli handed him the 2 pieces of glass. Shirlik didn't get it. They're in place of a knife. Who else has one? Just me. Where did you get it? I found it in the forest. Shirlik examined the broken glass. You'll have to wrap it in rags so it won't cut you. I don't have any rags, Shirlik said. Cut some from your shirt. Shirlik took a piece of jagged glass and cut off part of his shirt sleeve. The sun had set. The black line of the forest in the distance was now a row of trees. They sat down to eat in the fading light instead of waiting to reach the forest. Shirlik had never eaten a raw egg before. Yoseli showed him how to make 2 small holes at either end with a toothpick and to suck it out through one. Why don't you use your knife? Shirlik asked. The blade's broken. Look. Yoseli opened the knife. No one had mentioned the boy who had been caught. What will happen to him? Shirley wanted to know. He'll be beaten and handed over to the Germans for money or vodka, Itzik said. And then? No one who was caught has ever come back to tell us. Don't talk so much, Shalemi scolded them. They went on eating in silence. When they were done, they put the leftover vegetables in their pockets and bags and set out again. It was dark, but the darkness was different from the ghettos. The land loomed around them, as flat as the palm of a hand, and the vast sky overhead was strewn with stars. Just as they entered the forest, a big orange moon came up. Shurlik remembered moons like that from Blani. In the ghetto, he had never seen one. They were almost in the forest now. Where are we going? Shurlik asked. Into the forest to sleep. He was scared. He had never gone to the forest with his older brothers during the day to gather mushrooms, or he had gone to the forest with his older brothers during the day to gather mushrooms and pick blueberries. But at night, it was a scary place. They passed the tree line and kept walking. Hold hands, Avram said. Shurlik gave one hand to Yoseli and the other to Itzik. They came to a place where they stopped and lay down. For a few minutes there was low conversation. Shurlik lay with his eyes shut. Then he opened them wide. The forest was talking. He listened. Was it the same forest as the big one near Blani? The moon was hidden behind the treetops. Here and there a patch of sky shone brightly through the darkness. Stars glittered. The silhouettes of the branches were outlined against the sky. Shurlik heard a strange sound, like someone groaning or breathing. He gave a start. What's that? He whispered. Yoseli, lying beside him, whispered back, An owl. Aren't you afraid to be here at night? Don't you see, Shurlik? Yoseli said. If not for the forest, the farmers would have caught us long ago. It's the darkness that keeps them from finding us and handing us over to the Germans the way they'll hand over Libelle. It protects us. That's why I like it. The darkness keeps us alive. Don't you see now? Yes. Are you still afraid? Yes, Shurlik admitted. You'll get used to it. I was afraid too. How did you meet the other boys? I heard them talking. Their Polish sounded Jewish, so I went to them. At first, Shalemi didn't want to take me. Shurlik suddenly realized why Shalemi had told him not to talk to Poles. Do I talk Polish like a Jew too? He asked. No, neither does Avram. But some of us have Yiddish accents, like Shalemi. And why shouldn't I go swimming or take my pants off? Because you're circumcised. Aren't the Poles? Yoseli laughed. No, only the Jews. Yoseli was from Warsaw. His mother, he told Shurlik, made a living in the ghetto by sewing and selling the blue stars of David that Jews had to wear on their sleeves. With the money she made, she had bought potatoes and bread from the Polish side of the wall and smuggled them to the Jewish side. It was hard, dangerous work. Twice he had been caught. Each time he was beaten and the food was taken from him. Before being taken to the hospital with typhus, his mother said to him, Shele, cross to the Polish side and don't come back. And you've been in the forest ever since then? Shurlik asked. No, at first I hung around the villages until I was almost caught. Couldn't we be caught in the forest too? No one goes very deep into it, except the partisans. Who are they? Poles who fight the Germans. They don't want any part of us, though. You have to watch out for the forester, too. He turns Jews in. Are all Poles bad? Yoseli thought. No. Once I knocked on a door, and they gave me food without any questions. Are we deep in the forest now? Not yet. In the dark, it's safe here, too. In the morning, we'll go deeper. The next morning, Yoseli awoke him. Shurlik was surprised to open his eyes and see trees and branches instead of walls and a ceiling. Then he remembered where he was. He was hungry and thirsty. Come, Yoseli said. We're going to our hideout. Avram led them through the trees to a brook. They stopped to drink, scooping water with their hands or lapping it while they lay on their stomachs. Shurlik stuck his head in the water. It felt good flowing over him. He opened his mouth and drank. They took out their vegetables. Avram put the basket of eggs in the middle. When they finished eating, they stored everything in a hollow tree trunk and went to look for berries. Wild strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and red and black currants. They also picked black and white mulberries from the trees and little green nuts whose shells were still soft. Shrilek found some mushrooms. They were the kind he had gathered with his brother in the forest near Blani. His new friends were afraid to eat them. Shrilek, Abram said, you'll die from them. He ate them anyway, and his friends learned. Late that afternoon, Abram led them back to their hideout. They drank from the brook and ate more vegetables and eggs. How can Abram always find the way? Shrilek asked. Partly by the moss, and partly, I don't really know, Itzik said. What's moss? Itzik showed him some growing on the tree trunks. You see, he said, it only grows on one side of the tree. And no matter how many trees you look at, it's always the same side. It helps you find your way back. Shrilek didn't understand. How? By following it in the opposite direction. Although this made no sense to him either, he didn't ask again. He would try to figure it out for himself. Do you have any more farmer's cheese? He asked. Itzik laughed. No, we finished that long ago. We'll steal some more when we can. The next night, Shrilek slept near Yosele again. They talked quietly before falling asleep. You know something? Yosele whispered. Trees have souls. Who told you? The Bele. He said their souls go places at night. Was he your friend? Yes. Are the souls of the trees good or bad? They must be good. No tree ever harmed anyone. Shrilek thought about that. Do you think it hurts a tree to break its branches? He asked. Maybe no more than clipping your fingernails, said Yosele. My mother always threw the clippings from my fingernails into the oven, Shrilek told him. First she mixed them with feathers. So did mine, without feathers. You know why? Why? So your soul won't look for them on Judgment Day. What's Judgment Day? The end of the world, when all the dead rise. Everyone? That's what my grandpa says. I'll see my mother again, and she won't be sick anymore. Shrilek sighed. I wish I knew what happened to my mother. What about your father? He told Yosele of the time they tried escaping the ghetto, and the German soldiers appeared on motorcycles. I can't remember my father, Yosele said. He died when I was little. We lived with my grandfather. He was a bookseller. Can you read? Yes. Can you? No. When he was little, Shrilek had gone to Hebrew school. All they had learned were the Hebrew letters. The Polish letters were different. What did your father do? Yosele asked. He was a baker. Sometimes he took me to his bakery to sleep on top of the oven. In the morning, he woke me and gave me the first hot rolls to eat. Shrilek's mouth watered thinking of those rolls. Do you have brothers? He asked Yosele. No, I have two and two sisters. Where are they? I don't know. Maybe they're dead. They were probably caught in some roundup. What's a roundup? Yosele asked. That's when the Jewish police and the German soldiers take Jews to trains for resettlement. Where? In the sky, Shrilek said. Who told you? Yone, the shoemaker. Yosele thought about that. I'm glad my mother's dead, he said at last.